What is going on, guys? MitchCactus here, coming back with another Forza Horizon 5 video, and today we'll be talking about how to get super wheel spins extremely quickly in Forza Horizon 5 with no sort of glitches, cheats or anything involved. A very simple and legitimate method you can use whether you're playing on Xbox, PC or Steam. That's also extremely effective when it comes to how quickly you guys can earn super wheel spins, and of course the consequential credits you can make from doing so, alongside with all the rare cars you'll get from opening up all the wheel spins. Now of course, if you guys are new to my channel, you're simply not aware, I typically post glitch type content, money methods, giveaways, leaked cars, etc. And if you guys want to stay up there with any further updates related to this, please consider dropping a like and subscribing with notifications on, as it greatly helps the channel's growth. But guys, I'm going to go in and get started. Now I have covered this, or at least I've briefly covered a similar method before in the past, specifically in some giveaway videos, just briefly going over how I made some credits, but I will go in and cover it again more in depth in this video. And there are a few different cars you guys can use. First off, what car to use, a little bit of tips you guys need to know before you go in and get started. And the first car that I definitely recommend you guys have and use for this is going to be the Hoonigan Hoonicorn V2. Now of course, I don't expect a lot of new players to have this car, as it's very expensive, it's quite rare. However, over time, as you guys build up more money, as you guys want to invest in overall earning more income through super wheel spins, etc., I would suggest getting this car. And the reason that is because this car in the car mastery perks has a ×8 skill multiplier, meaning using this car you guys will essentially be able to farm skill points quite a little bit quicker than a lot of other cars you guys could use. You can see, regardless of what car you use, it's absolutely imperative you have all of these perks upgraded. You can see there are a few I missed out on, they're not very important. For example, more XP, irrelevant. Forza on points, not going to help you make more money. And of course this skill chain, extra life, 25 skill points, don't really need to spend when it comes to be able to farm skill points. Another car you guys could use is going to be the Formula Drift car. Any of these cars are completely free in the free car pack that comes with Forza, and they all have ×8 skill multipliers. So not quite as good as the Hoonicorn, but still very good. And just briefly, if you guys are wondering how I have almost 1 billion credits, of course 1 million skill points, 100 million super wheel spins and more, it's because I'm playing on a modded account from MitchCactus.com. And I don't want to go into too much detail in this video, but pretty much we can apply these mods to a new account or even your own personal existing account, or we can simply provide you guys a credit and super wheel spin pack ranging from 100 million credits and 10,000 super wheel spins all the way to 1 billion credits and 100 million super wheel spins. There'll be a link in this description, in the pinned comment. We have well over 3,000 reviews on our official Trustpilot page, and by far the most highly reputable modders. But in terms of where to drift, guys, and where to go once you guys have got your car and your car mastery perks unlocked, head down to the Aerodrome drag strip. So as you guys can see, I'm arriving here now, and the very good spot about this, or at least a good part about the Aerodrome drag strip, is it's very long and open. There are also just some destructible objects you guys can go in and destroy for some extra skill points, and all you guys need to do in your car, whether you're in the Hoonicorn or you're in one of the drift or the Formula Drift cars, is drift up and down in a sideways motion. You guys will see you'll start to build up skill points extremely quickly, and there are a few key things you guys need to know when doing this. So firstly is, when should I stop? Now it depends on what car you're using and what car mastery applier it has, and I'll go in and throw a little photo on screen that is a little bit of a guide as to when you guys need to know when your chain will be at the max point. And what I mean by that is that in a skill chain, you guys can see my numbers are around 35,000. That's a skill chain. In each skill chain you can only get 10 skill points, so it doesn't matter if you get 1 million or you get 100 million points in that skill chain, you're still only going to get 10 skill points. And based off your car mastery multiplier, you'll be able to determine when you're at the point where you've exactly or perfectly crossed over the threshold to go in and get 10 skill points. And secondly, if I stop now to go in and show my point, another thing is that the car mastery perks on screen, you're actually building them up faster than what the animation can show when you're drifting this quick, when you're destroying objects, when you're getting all these skill chains. So keep in mind, for a car with a ×8 multiplier like the Hoonicorn V2 I'm in, if you guys want to go and get 10 skill points in one chain, you want the chain to stop at around 63,000 points. But considering that my chain is always going to be higher when I'm drifting quickly than what it shows on screen, you want to time it so that you stop right before then. You guys can see I could have stopped a little bit later, as my chain, when I probably stopped, I was around 44,000, and it ended up continuing to build to around 60,000 or 61,000. So next time I'd probably want to stop slightly later, but those are two things you guys need to know. You want to stop when it's efficient to do so, because you don't want to waste time building a huge skill chain and still only getting 10 skill points, and you want to stop a little bit before you're at that point where you know you need to stop. For example, if you're in a Formula Drift car or any car with a times 7 skill multiplier, your chain will reach 10 skill points once the number is at 72,000. So probably stop at mid 50s, and from there you guys want to go ahead and let it build up. And you can easily get around 10 skill points per minute just from drifting. Another very effective tip I'd have is that I pretty much let my chain build up there just to show you guys what I meant. But when you're actually trying to grind skill points quickly, you don't want to have to wait 30 seconds at the end of every single chain for the skill perks to add up. So what I recommend is doing is go to one of these events, whether it's the cross country or the drag strip at the end of the field, click here, enter event, instantly back out. That'll instantaneously bank your chain. You can try it out for yourself and see what I mean, but instead of waiting around 30-40 seconds for the skill points to build up, go ahead and enter one of those events, instantly exit out, just open the prompt, that's all you need to do, go back out, and boom, your skill points will be banked and you can get back to drifting and save a fair bit of time. But now you guys might have built up some skill points. I'm sure you're wondering, how do I convert these into super wheel spins? Well guys, there are a few different ways you can do it, some of which are more risky than others, some are a little bit cheaper than others, and some are more consistent, and I'll go on and show you one of each. So first off, the easiest and most consistent method you guys can use involves the Jeep. I'll go ahead and show this. I've showed this on my channel in the past, the 2012 Wrangler Rubicon. Buy it for 50,000 credits. You want to do this a bunch of times if you guys are converting a lot of skill points into super wheel spins. You guys can see if I head to this Jeep, what I meant by this, guys, very low risk, always works, but the downside, it's quite expensive in terms of how many skill points you need to spend. As this Jeep has a Car Mastery prize car you unlock in the Car Mastery tree area, which I'll go ahead and show you guys now. So upgrades and tuning, upgrade the whole way till you see that top prize car. It's going to cost around 60 skill points just to get this car, and then from once you guys unlock the Birdie car itself, you need to spend around another 15-20 to actually get a super wheel spin. So let's say in an hour you get around 800 skill points from farming, or even around 600 from just drifting around. That probably will equate to around 8 to 10 super wheel spins if you guys use this method. So it's very expensive in terms of super wheel spins, but the pros is that you spend little to no credits. As you guys will see in this car, there's actually a credit perk which will recoup all of the 50,000 you spent on the Jeep for another 10 skill points. So whether you think it's worth it, up to you. But of course, and another advantage is that it always works, unlike some methods I'll show in a little bit, which are based off the auction house and sometimes you'll find won't be as effective, but it is pretty expensive. Another method you guys could use is going to be buying this one car off of the auction house, a Zenvo. Now, one thing to keep in mind, guys, if you buy a car off the auction house and the perks have already been used, you won't be able to use them again. One thing to keep in mind. So when you guys are trying to buy cars like this, I actually made a video, and since then a lot of people have been doing this and the prices have gone up. But regardless, if you're trying to buy a car on the auction house and you're trying to use the perks it has, look out for duplicate sellers, look out for if it's stock or not. You want to pretty much buy a car that you think has not even been touched, as it'll have the highest probability of not having the perks used. So if you see one seller listing up a bunch, try and go ahead and avoid it. But I'll show you guys an example of what this Zenvo has. So you guys could easily buy this on the auction house for around 800,000 credits, actually a little bit more expensive than what they used to be. And in the Car Mastery section, you guys can see they have 2 super wheel spins and 1 normal super wheel spin. You can buy them off the auto show for 1.2 million, but paying 1.2 million for 2 supers and 1 normal is not worth it at all. I've seen some people saying that it's really not worth it a lot of the time. But if you guys can get them off the auction house for a bit cheaper than 800,000, around 300,000-400,000, which they were a couple weeks ago, definitely can be quite lucrative. Another car I highly recommend you guys use in the auction house, and I'll just show you these briefly, is going to be the Ford Puma Forza Edition. So I'll go ahead and get that up, guys. Although the downside with this car is that it's only available those who have VIP in Forza. So if you have the car pass, got VIP access. If not, you won't be able to enter into this car. But you can easily buy them off the auction house for 200,000 credits, and boom, I'll show you the perks on in a second. But another car that you guys can use if you don't have VIP is the Nissan Fairlady Z. So anyone can acquire this car and use its perks. It's pretty easy on the auction house, same as the Ford Puma, and pretty similar to the Zenvo. One thing again, just look out for cars that have been put up by duplicate sellers. You can see this one Anthony guy, he's got around 3 at least of these up, so I look out for that. Is most likely doing this in bulk using the perks, and if you buy one of his cars back, you'll find the perks have already been used. You guys can see in the Ford Puma the perks are very good. It has not only 1 super wheel spin, also 1 normal spin and credits on top of that, so very profitable. By far one of the best cars to convert skill points into super wheel spins, not to mention the credits you get from it. Again, the downside being that obviously on the auction house sometimes you'll find the perks have been used, and on top of that you can only get it if you have VIP in Forza. Nissan Fairlady Z, the perks are nowhere near as good, to be honest. It still has a super wheel spin, but not the additional wheel spin in the credit perk. But of course it is quite a bit cheaper and anyone can access it, so definitely still a very good alternative and solution. One thing I would also recommend, guys, is if you're doing this method and you're opening a lot of super wheel spins trying to get money, it's a little bit difficult to explain entirely, but I'll put it simply. Each one of these purchasable clothing items takes up a spot in the super wheel spin and wheel spin prize pool. For every single one of these clothing items you purchase, you're taking out virtually a useless item from the loot pool. Let's say there's 200 clothing items you guys can purchase with credits. If you buy every single one of those 200 clothing items, those 200 spots that are now being removed from the Super Wheelspin and Wheelspin prize pool will be replaced by other desirable items like rare cars and credits having a higher probability of being unlocked. So it can be a bit difficult to explain at first, but basically guys, the more clothing items you purchase, the better chance you have of getting more lucrative items in your Super Wheelspins as rewards. It's an investment, it costs a few million credits to buy all those clothing items, but over time you guys will find it's well worth it as you'll get far more credits, far more cars, and etc. This is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys did all enjoy. If you did, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to my channel with notifications on. And I hope you guys did all enjoy. And if you guys are interested in those modded accounts and you guys don't want to spend endless hours grinding out all those methods, farms, etc., you guys know where to go. MitchCactus.com. There'll be a link in the pinned comment in the description. That's going to wrap it up. Like I said, thank you guys all so much for watching.